How do you feel about being traded?
Yeah. So, like, first of all, we wasn't having a battle for the #1 spot. When I got to the Cowboys, it just felt to me like I was finally on the NFL team that I dreamed of when I was a kid. Life doesn't stop because something happens to you. Nah, even if you die, you know what I mean? Life is gonna go on. So, like, I had to realize that when I first got traded.
So would you say with the money now, say you had those same rules back when you were playing college, do you think it would be different for you?
I think it definitely would have had an impact on the school I picked. I still would have wanted to be a part of a great organization, to play under a great coach, and to be able to work hard and compete for my job.
Where do you see yourself after your football career?
It's a good question, bro. I remember when I was young, my mom, she said, you're going to be a preacher and a businessman. To answer your question, after football, the route runners take off, and it's like the next big sports brand. Definitely leading men based off of scripture.
When you play your last down of football, what do you want to be remembered as?
Man, yeah, nobody ever asked me that question before. As a football player, I would want to be remembered as like that guy who did things the right way, who played the game and went about his life the right way.
I come in here, it looks professional. Tune into the content.
Yo, what's happening, man? Welcome back to another episode of Direct Discussions. I am your host, B Naked. Hey, man, who I got with me, man?
All right, man. Roger.
Right here.
You got David over here. You got Roger. What's going on, guys? We are the hosts of Direct Discussions podcast today. We are, we got Brandon over there.
Yeah. From the vibrant streets of Miami, Florida, this is not your average NFL wide receiver. From his humble beginnings in a tough neighborhood, his journey to football stardom is nothing short of extraordinary. Dodging not just defenders on the field, but also challenges of growing up in Miami's rugged landscape. Football became his sanctuary, and he didn't just play the game, he owned it. Later got drafted to Oakland Raiders in the first round of 2015 NFL drafts. NFL career has been a highlight reel game-winning plays and record-breaking performances with stints at the Dallas Cowboys and the Cleveland Browns. He also has 4 Pro Bowls up under his belt. He's consistently been proven one of the greatest league's elite wide receivers. Off the field, he's just as impressive, known for his dedication to his community. He's actively involved in charitable endeavors, giving back and inspiring to the next generation. Whether he's making defenders look foolish on the field or making a difference off of it, he is a true superstar in every sense of the word. And the Dallas Cowboys really miss him. Ladies and gentlemen, Amari Cooper. Man.
Let's go, baby. Yeah. I like that intro. That was
man,
a good
I appreciate
intro.
you, man.
Thanks for having me.
Man, what's going on, brother? We appreciate you for coming on the show, man.
Man, it's just cool, just cool.
Yeah, okay.
Time is the
taking
off
it one day at a
season.
time,
Yeah, okay. You made it safe. Did you wake up good? Was you training? You was in the gym? We distracted you? Like, how your day going so far?
Man. We talked a little bit off camera. I wake up late in the off season, man. I'm not a morning person at all. I like to stay up late, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, watching TV, just doing my own thing. So I kind of woke up at 10. I would consider that a little early for the off season. I got a little haircut because I knew I was coming here. So
yeah.
Gotta look fresh.
Shout out to Cuss by Fred. You know what I'm saying?
Sir. Let's go, baby.
So 3, 4 in the morning. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So you scrolling TikTok, you like to laugh, you like to read, you watching movies, you studying routes because you are awesome route runner. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing 3, 4 in the morning?
I wear a lot of hats, bro. Like I like to do a lot of stuff, but mainly it's revolving around learning. Like I like to learn. Like it's fun to me. But yeah, like I alluded to earlier, I'm not a morning person, so. And then I don't get to do a lot of things that I want to do during the season because I'm so locked in. You know what I'm saying? I'm so focused on being the best player that I could be. So in the off season, that's when I usually get to do, all the other like endeavors that I want to delve into. So, I read, watch shows. Obviously I work. I just like working out. So I just do like, calisthenics, boxing. I'm always watching like fights and stuff like that on YouTube. I don't know. I just do a whole bunch of different things. You know, shopping. Yeah, like I do a lot of different things.
Don't run up on Amari Cooper. In other words, because he a boxer. Yeah,
you're gonna be going down if you run up on Amari Cooper. Yeah. Whether it's on the field or off the field, you going down.
Okay, so let's dive into some of these questions, man. How old was you when you first started playing football, and who inspired you to continue to play?
That's a good question, man. I first started playing football at like 5 years old. So the thing about like, I grew up in South Florida. So South Florida is like a hub for football. So you know how you got certain places that are just like hubs for things?
Yeah.
Like if you go to I went to the Dominican Republic. If you go to the Dominican Republic, you see a lot of Major League Baseball players come out of there because it's a hub for baseball. Like I remember when I was there, we were just driving by and, you know, guys were like in the backyard practicing baseball.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like that in South Florida. Like football is culturally pushed, no different than like Rucker Park in New York where basketball is pushed. It's the same way in South Florida for football. So like just growing up, you just walking through the neighborhood, people playing football in the backyard, you know what I'm saying? And then my after school program, it was called the Barnyard. And that was the thing to do there. Like you go there, you finish your homework, because like school's over, elementary school was over at like 10:30. After school program, the counselors would come to the school to walk us to the after school program. It's like a 5-minute walk, but we were young, elementary school, you know what I'm saying? So we try to finish our homework, you know, within an hour. So we get there like 2:45, finish our homework like 3:30, and then go outside. We just want to play football. But you can only enter into the after school program when you're 5 years old. That's the youngest you can be. So, boom, you know, parents, they want to get, you know, they want to keep you
occupied
as long as they can. So, yeah, that's when I started playing. 5 years old at the Barnyard for real.
Okay, and who inspired you to just keep going? Like, is there a wide receiver or a football player, period, that...
So I would say, because like I really ain't have like no cable and stuff growing up. Like we ain't have internet how it is now. You know what I'm saying? So it was hard to have like a inspiration of someone who was already successful at it. And then on top of that, like as I alluded to earlier, like in my neighborhood, football was culturally pushed. You know what I'm saying? So like I would say the people who inspire me is just those guys who was older than me in my neighborhood who was already playing football for 4 or 5 years. You know what I'm saying? They was already good. I was like, dang, I wanna be able to do that move he just did. And then like you got a lot of respect for being good at football in my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of respect. If you was good, people just respected you. Like you scored a couple touchdowns, you just got to. So I think that's what, especially in the early years, I think that's what motivated me to keep going for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a quick side question, real quick. Were you nervous coming here, and are you nervous now?
I wasn't nervous coming here because I do a lot of interviews, but I would say I'm more so of a reserved person. Like I'm introverted. I always been like I used to be real shy. So I wouldn't say like I'm nervous, but I'm just like I'm more so. This is like not necessarily my comfort zone. I like to be like solo. To myself. I'm just an introverted guy. So. Not nervous, but just a little bit outside of the comfort zone, like just having a direct or open conversation. So,
So, you know, you alluded to, you know, having a big background football, you know, upbringing back in Florida, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, a couple of weeks ago, I'm doing my research. Long story short, I see that you were talking to 2 individuals about how, you know, rappers used to bet against, you know, it was like, okay, so my team, this is my team, and then this is my other team. And there'd be some real big money in play, you know, for, you know, little league sports. So, you know, can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. Growing up in the type of neighborhood I grew up in, so my neighborhood was really, like, it was a whole bunch of, like, drug dealers, a whole bunch. As a matter of fact, like, in 2009, I believe it was, there was like this big drug bust where like 30-something of those guys got arrested and they went to jail. It was like a whole federal case. So you know what comes along with that. It's just like, you know, a whole bunch of like hood stuff, bro, gambling and things of that nature. And one of the things they used to gamble on was, you know, the games. And so it was a lot of pressure early on, bro. A lot of pressure early on. Like, you hear guys, like, I used to wonder, bro, I'm 8 years old. I used to hear, like, grown men on the sideline, like, hey, you got to catch that. Like, but the way they said it, it'd be like, what you got on this? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I know you ain't just that big a fan of us. Like, so yeah, yeah, it was a lot of pressure. But, no, I think the interview you referring to is, you know,
it was routes on the YouTube channel. It said routes.
Okay, yeah, I think because so it's like Snoop Dogg. He used to be over a team in California.
That's where I was getting at. Yeah,
Trick Daddy. He was over a team in Miami, and like these would be superstar teams, and they'll bring teams from like different states, and they'll play like the best players from Cali play the best players in Florida, and they'll play, and then they used to have like some big money in those games. But like in retrospect, when I look back on it, you know, these guys who were playing was only like 9, 10, 11 years old. Like, we were young, you know what I mean? So it's just like kind of crazy to think about, I would say.
He's like, I'm only 9. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
My hands are only so big right now.
So moving to high school, you dominated. You know what I'm saying? You was a magician out there on the field. Got to college, Alabama. And you get I hate this award name, the Bolitnikov.
The Bolitnikov.
Oh, I said it right. Man, come on, man. So, yeah, I had a hard time. Like,
that's a hard
I can't even spell it.
Yeah,
all right, so, yeah, you get the award. So, you obviously, and then you became this, you know, the top receiver in the league. I mean, in college. So,
yeah.
During that time, was there somebody, because you got TV, I think internet started coming around. Was you inspired by somebody in the NFL, or was it a parent, or was you just in it because you just love football, or?
Yeah, so around that time, I started as I started to age in the game, I started to pay attention to the actual game more, because like I said earlier, I actually fell in love with football before I knew I could make a dime from it. I didn't even know what the NFL was when I was 5, 6 years old. I didn't know what it was. You know, it was just football was culturally pushed, and I just fell in love with the game like any other kid who will fall in love with a game that they're constantly playing, you know what I mean? But after I fell in love with the game and I actually knew, like, yo, you can like really make something of this. Like, this is something that people do professionally. I started really studying the game, becoming a student of the game. And I would say I started having like different favorite receivers at different times. Yeah. Like, when I was young, you know how you get like the local channels on TV? Yeah. So like the UM games will pop up. Yeah. The university, the Dolphins games will pop up. And so like my favorite players first was like from UM. You know what I'm saying? So Andre Johnson with their Santana Moss, guys like that. Yeah. Then I'm not gonna lie, I ain't gonna lie. When I got to middle school, so this was elementary. My favorite team was UM. When I got to middle school, I kind of bandwagon. I ain't gonna lie. Started rooting for Florida. Them boys was winning. Winning all type of. Yeah. So like, and then Percy Harvin, he was my favorite receiver in middle school because he did something that I wanted to do. Like, he went to Florida, the best team in the country at the time. Yeah. And he started at receiver and running back as a true freshman. Like if you really a football player, your goal is everybody got the same couple of goals. You want to go to a D1 school. Right. You want to start as a freshman. Mm-hmm. And you want to get drafted top 10. Yeah. Like, those are the goals. Yeah. So I would say Percy Harvin around middle school was my favorite receiver. In college, and then like around that time, T.O., Randy Moss, was looking at those guys. Then when I got to high school, it was Andre Johnson. He was because he was like one of the best receivers in the league. So that's a guy who I was really looking at. So those guys,
Okay.
Yeah, I want to take it back a little bit. Back in high school, you had the privilege of playing with Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, Teddy B.
So how was it? How many years did y'all play together in high school? Because I know I don't know how it was in that time, but I know you can transfer a lot in high school, go to high school to another. Yeah. So I wasn't playing with Teddy.
Yeah, so I actually did transfer there. So my home school was Coral Gables. That's where I went my 9th grade. But I always wanted to go to Miami Northwestern ever since I was an 8th grader. Because when I was an 8th grader, Miami Northwestern, it was the best high school in the country. You know what I'm saying? It was the best high school team in the country, and they were undefeated. They blew everybody out. I'm like, man, I want to go there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I felt like I was a good enough player to go and start there. Like, a lot of players, around the city, they was like, hell no, I don't want to go there. I ain't going to never play. But I just had I had the opposite mindset. You know, long story short, 9th grade I was gonna go there, but I was like, the thing is I don't know nobody who go there. You know what I'm saying? Then you in middle school with all your friends. You're like, man, I ain't gonna lie, I want to go to high school with all my friends too. So that's what I ended up doing. But that's when I really realized, like, yo, I need to go to this school, bro. Like, I need to test myself. And so many scouts are going there because they're such a good school. So it'll be easy for me to get a D1 scholarship once a scout sees me. Yeah. So I ended up going there. Teddy is actually a year older than me. So I transferred there in the 10th grade. He was in the 11th grade. But when I went there, I didn't start right away because, a lot of different factors came into play. So I didn't start right away. So, he went on to dominate that year, but I was just returning punts. I wasn't playing a receiver. Then that next year, my 11th grade year, Teddy's senior year, we was cooking like the whole spring. We cooking like we on the same page. Boom, boom, boom. The season starts. The first game we cooking, but then I ended up getting hurt. Like the second, third game, I had a hip injury, like real bad. It was weird. I never had before that or after that. I never had an injury like that before. It just came out of nowhere. I couldn't really run, nothing like that. So I had to sit out pretty much the whole season. I only played like 4 games. Came back for the playoffs, and I dominated. I came back for the last game of the season, and then the 2 playoff games that we played in, I dominated those games with Teddy. But then Teddy went on to graduate. So our stint with each other was short-lived as far as like playing in the games with each other, but we did get a lot of reps in, if you include practice and everything like that. And he was like, he's literally the best player I've ever seen in high school. Like, not just from a physical standpoint, but his mindset. Like, I've seen him play through some gruesome, tough injuries to play through. And it's just like, he ain't have to, you know what I'm saying? But that's just the type of guy he was. So, yeah.
So, I want to touch on that injury. So, I know a lot of athletes, they get hurt, right? And for whatever reason, they can't play the same like they used to, So back when you had that hip injury, did you ever go through that mindset where you're like, man, I don't want to overwork it because then I'm going to hurt myself? Or kind of like when somebody tears an ACL, they're too scared to run or move a certain type of way because they don't want to re-injure themselves?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. So at that time, I really didn't know how to play with injuries because, like, as you guys probably know, injuries is not just a physical thing. It's a mental thing, too. Yep. Like, what the hugest hurdle for me was the mental hurdle. Not saying that it wasn't hurting because it was killing me, but the mental hurdle was, okay, when I'm healthy 100%, I know nobody can't guard me. Yep. But if I'm hurt and I'm at 60% and the guy's at 100%, he's going to be able to guard me better than he would if I'm 100%. So that always messed with me because it's like, how is this going to look? Like, you know what I mean? Like, people in the stands, they don't know I'm hurt. Like, it's going to look like I'm getting locked up out here. So it was a huge hurdle I had to get over. So I didn't really know how to play through injuries at that time. So I'm glad, when I look back on it in retrospect, I'm glad that it happened because I had to learn how to play with injuries. As you fast forward, I got to the University of Alabama, I still didn't know how to play on with these injuries. You know what I mean? And I kind of got benched because of that. Like, at my sophomore year, I was hurt a lot in college. And Coach Saban was just like, you can't just keep taking yourself out of the game. Like, it's messing up the cohesiveness of, the game. You know what I mean? So I kind of got benched for it, a little bit. And that's when I had to learn how to play with, because I'm like, I ain't trying to get benched, bro. Like, I'm not, like, I would rather just play hurt than to get benched. So it kind of taught me a really valuable lesson. And then what's crazy is after I learned that lesson, to this day, I've had my best college and NFL games being an injured player.
That's crazy.
Like, last year I had a game where I went for 265 yards. That's the most yards I've ever had in a single game, and I was hurt. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, it was a valuable lesson for sure.
Yeah, you was lining up for me on that fantasy football that week.
Yeah, for sure.
So, real quick. So how did you have to overcome? I mean, yes, you said, I had to overcome it, but what kind of process did you have to, like, go through to, like, actually overcome that, mentality where you're like, man, you know, I don't want to play hurt. I'm hurt. You know, I want to make sure I play good. You know, so what kind of hurdles did you have to jump in your mind?
So like I alluded to earlier, the physical and mental. So the physical is just like, this is hurting. You know what I mean? Like every time I take a step on it, it's ailing me. You know what I mean? So you just gotta learn how to balance yourself, for lack of a better word. Like let's say I played on a high ankle sprain before. Like I'm talking about my ankle is literally like the size of a grapefruit. You know what I mean?
That hurts.
And it's just learning how to step on it, learning how to cut properly on it. You know, all these little nuances that you got to learn that you can only learn through experience. And then like the mental hurdle, like I said before, it came down to like risk versus reward for me. So when Saban did what he did, and he was like, "Yo, like we just gonna put another guy in." Yeah, I mean, it was just like, I would rather just play on this than because when I did get back healthy, I didn't just get my job back. Like he's not gonna like, oh, I'm not just gonna put another guy in until you get back. No, you gotta have to work for this. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, when I got back healthy, you know, I'm ready to play. I'm ready to get my job back. I'm ready to just be out there like full time. But when I was healthy, he was just like, oh, we still rotating you and him. I'm like, nah, like I don't like this. So. And if you guys know anything about sports, which I'm sure you guys do, you don't ever really want someone to get the opportunity to play for you because you don't know what they're gonna do. They might go out there and light it up, and now you ain't even a starter no more. We've seen it happen time and time again. We've seen it happen with Tom Brady. Seen it happen with so
Cooper
many
Rush
players.
that one season.
Yeah, so like, nah, it just wasn't worth it. Yeah, I mean, so but I had to learn the hard way. But hey, I learned. You know what I mean?
I like it because at that point, you were like, I'm so close to getting what I want because you were in college at Alabama, top college school, and you were so close to the NFL. You were like right there. You're like, I got to go all in now. There ain't no backing out next season, whatever it is. I got to fight through this.
Yeah.
So would you say Nick Saban might have helped you with that, I would say, stability and that grit to want to just pull the extra out of you?
Yeah, of course. And, you know, if Nick Saban, if he wasn't a football coach, he probably would have been like a psychologist by trade. I think that's what he studied in college. So the thing about him, you know, because you got to deal with people based off of their personality. You can't deal with everybody in the same way because people react differently to different circumstances. So he definitely helped me. I think he understood who I was as a person. It's funny because he used to have us see like a psychologist when we first got there. So, but that was just an aside. But yeah, he definitely helped me, bro. He was like a father figure for sure. You know, just his maturity with how much he knew, his experience. He just always put us in the best situation. So I'm glad, and I think that's really the reason I went to Alabama because of him. Yeah. Because of what I seen in him as a coach. He was really like one of the only coaches when he was recruiting me who didn't like try to sell me. You know what I mean? Like all these other coaches was just like, oh, you're going to start right away. Like I really didn't want to hear that, even though I wanted that, but I didn't want to hear that because it's just like, you don't know how I'm going to practice when I get there.
Yeah,
like,
you're just telling me what I want to hear.
You can't just tell me what I want to hear. Like Coach Saban, he told me straight up, he was like, listen, he was like, I'm not going to promise you playing time, but if you earn it, you'll get it. And that's all I wanted to hear. Yeah. So, yeah.
So, just recently, Nick Saban retired. You know what I'm saying? And who you played for at Alabama. Do you feel like that the coaches with older mentality will ultimately, you know, be extinct from coaching college?
That's a good question, man.
I mean, you just got through saying how he was different coaching, you know.
Mentally. That's why he retired.
Yeah.
That's why he retired. Like, just like anything in life, you got to be able to adjust and adapt. And he knows that, trust me, and understands that. I just don't think he was really willing to do it this time around based off of the circumstances with the NIL, the transfer portal. The thing about Coach Saban, he does like to have a certain amount of control. But with the new system, I think that threshold of control he likes to have, I think it was relinquished because player doesn't have their way. It used to be like when I was there, it used to be like, okay, let's say a player isn't starting. It used to be if you wanted to transfer, the school you transferred to, you would have to sit out a whole year before you can play. So it stopped players from leaving.
Yeah, makes it not worth it.
Yeah, it's like I'm not about to leave. I might as well just work hard and earn the spot.
Right.
But now you worked so hard to recruit a player to get him to the school, just for him to not be satisfied because he didn't put in the work or he didn't earn the job yet. Just for him to be able to leave that same year and go play for another school. Yeah. And it's like, how can you're trying to run a system. Like, the world works on systems. You're trying to run a system, but it's very inefficient because of these new rules. So he didn't have that control that he wanted, and therefore he couldn't, like, run the system the way he wanted to run it. And that's why, because if you look at Coach Saban's time at Alabama, we were going to a national championship like every other year, or winning one, really winning one every other year. And, you know, he just retired. They hadn't been in like 3 years or something like that. So his system just wasn't working the same because of the rules. And I think he just didn't like it. You know?
I think his system is built on accountability, holding each other accountable and everything like that. And like you said, if a player doesn't want to hold himself accountable and say, hey, he's doing better than me, I need to work harder, then it just makes it, like you're saying, you're not holding this kid accountable. Now he can just transfer out of here.
And then on top of that, with the NIL, a kid could be at the school dominating, doing good, but feeling like he's not receiving the money that he's worth. And now you have one of your best players leaving for money. You know what I mean? Which, hey, I'm all for it. Like, because you never know. You got to get paid when you when you're eligible to get paid, because you never know. Football is a dangerous sport.
Yeah, it is.
You know, you could be here today, going tomorrow. So it was just, it's gonna be tough for any coach, bro, to build a dynasty in this day and age in college football landscape because of the NIL, because of the transfer portal. It's more of an even playing field, I would say.
Yeah, because anybody can go anywhere. So would you say with the NIL money now, say you had those same rules back when you were playing college, do you think it would be different for you?
Different, like, in what way?
Like, because let's say you were able to take money for you playing good and whatnot, would you have maybe went to a different school or not? Do you think your life would have been a little bit different if you had those same principles of NIL now?
I can't really say, I can't really say. What I will say is, like, I grew up like poor. Like, I was ready to. I was just like, the thing is, so when Alabama offered me a scholarship, I wanted to commit right away. My mom, after she wasn't really involved in the recruiting process like that. But after a while, it's like I'm 17. You know what I'm saying? I got the Bama when I was 17, so I'm still a kid. Yep. So my mom was like, "You've never really been that far before, like, for this period of time." She kind of got worried because I'm her child. Right. So she wanted me to just go and take a visit to the University of Miami to see if I liked it, to see if I wanted to go there. And so I did that just because of her. One of the biggest reasons I didn't go there is because growing up, I never had my own room. Yeah. So, I was never able to, like, bring girls over, talk to girls in private. Like, God, I can't even. So when I visited the University of Miami, their dorm rooms, like, so I visit University of Alabama, everybody had their own room. Oh, like, you might have 3 roommates, but everybody got their own space, their own room. At Miami, because Miami is a private school, small school. I went to their dorm. It's like a small room, 2 beds in a room, so you got to share. And I'm like, yo, I've been doing this my whole life. Like, I didn't work this hard to choose Miami over Alabama and have to sleep in this type of room. So the reason I'm telling this story is because if I was eligible for, like, the NIL money and stuff like that, I think it definitely would have had an impact on the school I picked. Like, the money, it would have had an impact on the school I picked. But just the way I am, just the way I'm wired, and I'm sure Alabama would have, offered me something. I wouldn't have just went to the highest bidder. You know what I'm saying? I still would have wanted to be a part of a great organization, to play under a great coach, and to be able to work hard and compete for my job. So the money would have been a factor. I'm not going to lie, but I wouldn't have. Like, if somebody offered me $1 million and another school offered me $800,000, I wouldn't have just went with the $1 million. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would have took other things into consideration as well. Yeah.
Okay, since we're talking about college football, money, and all this and that, you started playing young. Now you're in college. So, there's a scale between talent and hard work. How has that scale shifted for you over the years from, falling in love with the sport to playing in middle school, high school, to college, and now into your pro career?
Yeah, that's a good question. Y'all asking some good questions. No, so I think in every discipline in life, I think based off of what I see, the people who are the best in every field is the people who they have a God-given talent for it, but they also couple it with hard work. Mm-hmm. But it's a rare combination because these two things, they kind of can contradict one another, for lack of a better word. And the reason I say that is because, like, let's say somebody is super talented in something and it comes natural for them. Like, I'll give you an example with me. Like, receiver, it was just like something I just had a talent for. And one aspect of receiver is having hands, being able to catch, but naturally having great hand-eye coordination. Mm-hmm. Every receiver doesn't have it. Some receivers don't have that great a hand-eye coordination. So every time a ball is thrown to them, they have to fundamentally catch the ball the right way every time. They have to look it all the way through, tuck it. But if you have natural hands and natural hand-eye coordination, you don't really have to do that to catch the ball. You could just boom, 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 boom. But that comes with a curse. That gift comes with a curse because you can just drop a ball, like, because you're not catching it fundamentally the right way. Even though you don't always have to, that talent is a curse because, like, you're not always catching the ball the right way. So going back to answer your question, it's just like, you have to have, I would say if you talented and you work hard, it's the best combination. You're going to be the best. But after that, I would prefer somebody who works hard than who is talented, because that's, like they say, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. You know what I mean? So,
hard work will do what talent won't.
Yeah, exactly. So to answer your question, how has it shifted? It really hasn't really shifted much for me, because I think I was just super blessed to grow up in Miami. Like I always say, bro, like the receivers that I had on my high school team, the guys that I went up against in high school, when I got to college, I didn't really feel that much more of a difference, for real. Like, I really didn't feel that much more of a difference. Like, I would say you had probably more guys who were good, and then when I got to the league, you had more guys who were good. And, guys were obviously a little better, but it was never a point to where it was just, like, a shock. Like, some people, like, let's say somebody grew up in another state, and then they come to the University of Alabama, but they were like a 5-star, and they come to the University of Alabama. They get shocked by the talent, and they like, yo, like, these guys are so much better than the guys I'm used to playing. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had that type of shock. So I was just blessed.
Yeah, I like how you mentioned that. We touched back on hard work does what talent won't, because it's so true. I mean, you think about it this way, and it something I have to learn personally, man. Whereas, for example, I was always good in school, A honor roll, all this and that, but I never had to do homework. I never had to study. I guess you can say I'm a really good test taker. Right. But for everyone else in school, they're like, yeah, I got to take AP classes, all this and that, and they're struggling. And I mean, yeah, they went to college and all that, but I'm just like, okay, that's cool. But, high school was easy for me because I was able to, also balance a 40-hour job, 16, 17, 18. That senior year, my mom moved out of high school, and, that's where I started to realize, I'm like, yeah, I'm talented, but I need to do better in school because my grades are starting to slip, and it's kind of hard to pay this rent in this apartment after your mom moves out and says, hey, I'm not giving you any money. Yeah. You want to be in school? You want to live here? We're moving. You can stay here as long as you want. And that's where it was like, okay, that's where the hard work started to kick in, because, I mean, like you said, being talented, it's definitely a curse, dude. Like, trust me. And those are some of the lessons personally I have to learn through life, where it's like, all right, I'm naturally good at certain things. Now, if I want to elevate that, because talent's only going to get you so far, like you said, that's where that perfect combination comes in. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where, like, you never stop learning, because there's always going to be somebody doing something better than you. There's always going to be someone out there, having what you don't have, and something, most of the time you're like, man, I want to be as good as that person, or what did that person do to get to where they need to be at. But yeah, I love the fact that you said that, you know, although you were talented, you still have to work for it, and you have to maintain that level of work as you moved up in age, you know, as you moved up in, you know, different, you know, play styles from like collegiate to professional. Because I mean, like you said, you go into that room and there's that jump of expectation where it's like, okay, now you're in the big league, so to speak. You know, now you got to show up.
Yeah.
I like that, man. I can definitely resonate with the fact that you mentioned that.
Quick side note: when you went to college, what were you going to like? What were you studying?
Yeah, so just like most people, I changed my major like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
I think the first, bro, I don't even remember my first major. I know so I ended up majoring in criminal justice, and my minor was African American studies.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's what I finished and got my degrees in. But I remember I changed to, I think I majored in biology for a very short time. I think I just took a biology class and I liked it, and I like changed my major to it for like maybe a semester. I'm like, nah, I don't want to do this. Business. But it was too much math, and like as you know, with math, like you gotta be on it you gotta be paying attention every session in class, because you can't skip steps in an equation. You know what I mean? So like, I had to change that. I think I did.
I ain't got time for
kinesiology. I think I did. Yeah, I bounced around a little bit, but I settled on criminal justice and minor in African
So
American studies.
with that, you could be a police officer theoretically, or you would do.
Well, you don't need a degree to be a police officer, you know, as you know. But with that, you know, if football didn't work out, I think I would have been like an attorney or something. You know what I mean? So
still making money.
still making money.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Hey, so, yeah, go ahead, Brandon. My bad.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I've been waiting on this one. So when you played for the Cowboys, you know what I'm saying? It seemed like you and CD Land was having a friendly battle. You know what I'm saying? For the #1 spot. You know, we already know who that was. But no, it was a friendly little battle. You know what I'm saying? But do you feel like that kind of played? First of all, it's two questions. Do you feel like that played a part in being traded by a 6th-round draft? That pisses me off to this day, bro. Do you feel like that played a part in being traded? And 2, how do you feel about? I don't know how you got the news. Did you wake up? Did you already feel like it was coming, or how do you feel about being traded?
Yeah. So like, first of all, we wasn't having a battle for the #1 spot. Like, when you are a student of the game, you understand, like, you know, the past, like, just like we was talking about, like we prayed before this podcast. We was talking about a little bit of scripture earlier with the Dead Sea Scrolls. And one of my favorite verses in the Bible, I have many, but one of them is the things that were written in past times was written for our learning. You know what I mean? So like, all the things and all the stories of the Old Testament, they're written there because, like in Ecclesiastes, it says nothing new under the sun. Right. So it's written there to let us know, like, okay, this is how you should act in this situation. This is how you should act in that situation. The reason I say that is because I've seen, a matter of fact, I was watching a whole bunch of Super Bowls this all season. It was one team, I forgot which team I was watching. I think maybe the Rams, or it was one team where all 3 receivers had 1,000 yards. So
I think it was the Rams.
By the time CD got there, you got to think, me and Michael Gallup we both had 1,000-yard seasons. Right. We both had like 1,100 yards at the same time. So when time CD got there, it was like, yo, we got 3 #1 receivers. Like, all of us are super talented. So it wasn't like we was battling for the #1 spot. We was more so looking at it like, bro, we all gonna eat. Right. Dak, you know, he's coming to his own. He's doing his thing. So Dak gonna get the ball to all of us and feed all of us. So that's how we was really looking at it. Like, bro, we all finna go for 1,000 yards. We all finna be the #1 receivers, because we was trying to trend more towards passing the ball. Even though we had Zeke and Zeke was in his prime, we just had so many weapons. Right. So yeah, it wasn't us like competing for the #1 spot or anything like that. We were all looking like, you know, we're gonna be the #1 receiver. We all gonna eat. But as far as the second part of your question,
was you surprised about the draft? I mean, about the trade.
Nah, I wasn't really surprised, because in this era, like I had a coach for when I was playing for the Raiders. His name is Rob Moore. He played in the league 10 years, played wide receiver. He even led the league in receiving 1 year. So he was a really good player. He played in a couple movies and everything like that. But in his time, there was like not really any social media. So like, you know how right now news travel fast, especially fake news. Like,
Yeah.
But back in that time, sometimes guys got traded and they didn't even know they were traded. Like, they woke up and it's just like, oh, he's been traded. You know what I mean? But nowadays, it's like on social media, there are always rumors looming. Like, okay, you know, Amari Cooper might get traded. So I saw the rumors on social media. So I can't really say that I was surprised when I actually got the call and I was actually traded. So nah, I wasn't surprised.
Shocked, mad,
Upset.
I wasn't shocked because of the reasons I just mentioned. Upset, yeah, I was upset a little because I actually liked playing for the Cowboys. Like, you gotta think, I was coming from the Raiders to where, like, you know, it was like a tumultuous time for me, I would say, a little bit. Even though I loved the Raiders, but it was like a roller coaster, I would say, a bit. When I got to the Cowboys, it just felt to me like I was finally on the NFL team that I dreamed of when I was a kid. Like, you know when you're a kid, because they say there's a difference between fantasy and reality.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. But when I got to the Cowboys, I felt like I was living out that fantasy that I was imagining as a kid, because it's like, yo, everything was heightened, bro. Like, the game days, because we, you know, Cowboys mostly play primetime games. So they play nighttime games. The whole world is watching.
Everybody watching.
The stadium out there is amazing. You playing on the turf. You feel fast. You feel strong. Like, the Star, where we practice at, is an amazing facility. So it was, I enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, like, you enjoy something and it gets taken away from you. You go be kind of upset about it. So, yeah, I was upset. But I don't have nothing bad to say about the Cowboys. Like, I really don't. Because people ask me this question all the time about the trading. Because a lot of people are disgruntled about that, I guess.
Yeah, we upset, man.
Nah, I don't have nothing bad to say about the Cowboys, because I really enjoyed my time there. Like, those, like, you don't get, in life, you only get but a certain amount of years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But those 3.5 years that I was there, I was happy. So
you was
gotta
on
take-
a high.
I like the fact that you alluded to those limited amount of years, because, you know, from what I've seen, the average age of a receiver is 24. You're pushing 30, dude. Like, how does that feel for you? Yeah.
Yeah, you just turned 30.
Yeah. How do you feel in your head where it's like, okay, you know, most of these receivers are hot coming out of college. And, you know, I mean, I've seen a couple of videos where people are talking about your career. And they're like, yeah, you know, the Browns maybe want to give him an extra year, but they don't want to sign him for 3. And, you know, maybe because they're pushing that age. And sometimes receivers usually fall off after the 30. Yeah. How does that play a role in your head?
You know, in life, you always got to find things to motivate you. So that's the path or the perspective I choose to take, you know, on topics such as that. It's just like, okay, it's just something else to motivate me, because, man, life, you need motivation. I saw one quote before that said, like, motivation is like, you know, taking a shower. Like, you need it every day. You hear what I mean? Like, you can't just take a shower today and be like, oh, next Saturday, I'm good, I took a shower. Nah, you need it every day. So that's how I feel about motivation, bro. Like, I need some sense of motivation every day. And, you know, that's what the statistics say. The statistics say that when a receiver, you know, turns 30, you know, they're on the decline. So me being armed with that information is good, because I've been working my ass off. You know what I'm saying? I've been eating healthy, grinding, making sure I'm staying in shape. And so when I'm out working out, running routes, I don't feel 30. I feel like when I first came into the league, which is good. So, you know,
I think you're still in your prime, bro.
Yeah, you do have anomalies in the league based off of statistics. I know a lot of these guys, they don't have the skill set that I possess. You know what I'm saying? They had guys like Steve Smith. You had guys like Marvin Harrison, you know, all these guys Larry Fitzgerald, who were able to play until they were 35, 36 years old, you know, at a high level. So, you know, I look to more so following those footsteps.
Real quick, so whenever you got traded, how do you go about moving your whole life from one city to the next city? Do you have like an agent that you're calling saying, hey, can you move my cars? Can you give me a house? Like, how does all that whole process work?
So, yeah, it goes back to, you know, being able to adapt. You got to be able to adapt to any situation at any given time. That's what life is all about. You know how they say, man, survival of the fittest. It's not about the most talented, the most skilled, the smartest even. It's about the guy who can adapt the best. So, like, when you get traded, obviously the first time I got traded, it was new. Like, I had never experienced this before. And it was just like, everything was still like life doesn't stop because something happens to you. Nah, like, even if you die, you know what I mean. Life is gonna go on. So like, I had to realize that when I first got traded, it's like boom, the trade happens. Okay, I got to be at this new I got traded in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
So I got to be at this new team tomorrow to learn the playbook.
Yep.
I gotta find a crib. I gotta ship my cars. I gotta stop paying rent on this spot. Tell the landlord that I'm moving. Like it's a lot that you gotta do. As soon as you get there, you're bombarded with interviews, reporters. You gotta stay in a hotel for a couple weeks till you find a place. All while learning the playbook and still having to go out there and like it is a lot. But at the same time, hey, you just gotta take it a step at a time. You know what I mean, that's just what it is.
Okay, so when you came to Dallas, were you like, I want to rent, or you wanted to own?
Well, I had been renting my whole time in California because, man, those houses are expensive out there. Like, Cali, them cribs are expensive. So I'm like, man. And then, like, you gotta think, like I said, I grew up, you know, humble. So I was just like, I was scared to spend money. Like, even though I became a millionaire because I got drafted the 4th overall pick, I'm like, man, I ain't trying to spend this money. I'm not trying to go back to that. I'm not. So, you know, every dollar I was able to save, I was trying to save it. So, but what was interesting when I got here, you know, when I was looking at places to rent, because remember, I was renting in Cali, but what you get for rent out there is different than what you get. So, so I was like, I'll just pay this. I was just because I was used to paying a certain amount of rent. So I'm like, I'll just pay the same amount of money that I was paying to rent in Cali out here. And I was like, I could get that for that. Like, I was like, that's cool. Let me get that. I had like a nice little crib. So, yeah. Now I was looking to rent. I wasn't looking to own anything, especially after I had just got traded. I didn't know what the future would hold. So I was like, you know, who says I can't get traded again next year? You know what I'm saying? So, and then I was young, bro. Like I didn't know like the benefits of owning a spot versus renting for real. So I was just more comfortable with renting.
You know, I like the fact that you mentioned that you were humble as a kid, and it looks like you alluded to earlier, where you kept that same mentality after you've made millions. Because, I mean, you hear so many stories of people who are like, I got all this money, now I'm going to just spend it all in, you know, one go. And you see it on TV. You know, it's the narrative that they're pushing nowadays where it's like, all right, you got a contract, you got this advance, okay, cool. And then 5 years later, they done fell off, they're broke, you know. But man, dude, like it's I don't know how was it for you? Maybe you can explain a little bit better. But how hard or how easy was it to keep that mentality as you saw those commas and zeros adding up into your bank account?
Yeah. So like, think about me. You know, even as a kid, one of the things I've always felt like I've had was foresight. Like I don't know why, but I was always. And I thought it was just natural. Like I thought everybody should have some type of foresight, but obviously it's not true. Like people who you grow up with, you know, they used to tell us like a lot of these guys are gonna be dead or in jail. But it all comes down to foresight because they didn't have the ability to understand like, okay, if I do this today, a year from now, 2 years from now, this is how it's gonna affect me. They weren't weighing the pros and the cons. But me, I was always doing it. Every decision that I made, I was always looking at how is this going to affect me? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's no different with the finances. You know, I think a lot of guys go broke. The statistics are staggering on that as far as how many guys go broke, you know, after they finish playing and stuff like that. But I think it comes down to foresight because a lot of guys feel like, okay, I just got paid today. I'm going to keep getting paid. But that's not what the statistics say. And it's just not how it works, you know what I'm saying? So I was able to, you know, tap into that foresight and say, hold up, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just got, you know, a good payday, but, you know, it ain't going to always be like this. So I'm going to need to save. So that's what I did. I just took heed. That's all it was.
I think in addition to having foresight, I mean, you also have to be able to, you know, have a certain level of discipline when it comes to that because it's one thing to see it, but it's one thing to act upon it, and it's another thing to keep acting a certain way, even after you're getting bombarded with certain, you know, higher quality of life that you're experiencing as an adult. You're like, okay, you're like, okay, cool. I'm getting this money. No, I'm going to save it. Man, you know, it starts to get you. You got a little devil in your ear tempting you. Maybe you should go buy that $1 million crib. Maybe you should go buy that $100,000 car or whatever the case may be, you know, but also too, you know, and I'm sure all of us in this room can, you know, relate to that part where you have to also have that discipline So, now that we're transitioning to a little bit of discipline, what kind of discipline do you have to take on in order to, achieve success outside of your NFL career? For example, you got your clothing company, right? Route Runners?
Yeah, Route Runners, sports brand.
Yeah. So, since we're talking about that, what kind of discipline translate into running a business outside of being a professional athlete?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like I alluded to earlier, I feel like, the successful people in life, they have systems, bro. Like, you look at the world, it's ran on systems, the whole world. You know what I mean? That's how it's controlled. When you think about the word discipline, I like to break words down. Like, that root word is disciple. We know the disciples from the Bible, they were followers of Christ. So disciple means to follow. You know what I mean? So, like, when I think of the word discipline, I break it down like that. Like, to follow. What am I following? A set of rules and guidelines, some systems that's going to ensure my success. Yep. That's how I look at discipline. So any endeavor that I take on, whether it's business, football, whatever, I try to break it down into systems and then just follow those systems, follow those blueprints, follow those guidelines. And you have to have the discipline to follow them. Yeah. And that's all it is. That's all it is.
Yeah, I like that. Discipline is real big. I got a question for you. With 78%, yeah, there you go. With 78% of NFL players going into hardships after football, how do you plan to stay on top and not fall into the norms of retirement?
Yeah, so, I've been extremely blessed in my NFL career as far as finances. Not a lot of guys, get to, make the money that I've made. So at this point, it's not about because a lot of guys don't even get to make – because people think that everybody in the NFL is just super rich and everybody's a millionaire, but that's
the narrative. Yeah.
That's not true at all. At all. It's only it's 32 teams. It's only like maybe between 10 and 15 players on each team that's like really –
making the bulk of the money.
Yeah, making the bulk of the money. So I've been blessed. At this point, it's just about not spending it, not blowing it, just saving, making smart investments. So I don't really have to worry about that, thank God. As long as I'm just, saving my money and not spending it on stupid things, I'll be good because, I've been blessed.
Yeah, well, with inflation, real quick, Brandon, with inflation, your money's worth less now. So over time, what other investments are you invested in? Is it like stocks, maybe in businesses, restaurants, or what else would you be invested in?
Yeah, I've done some different type of investments. Before you invest, you got to investigate. So, I've done the real estate. I actually just sold, all of the properties that I had. But I've invested in that, made some good money. Invested in some companies, Series A investing, stuff like that. I do stocks a little bit, but not nothing crazy. I got my brand Route Runners that I'm trying to really turn into like the next Nike or Adidas or Under Armour. So that could be really big if we go about it the right way. But really, when you've made a good amount of money, you can really just let your money sit in certain accounts that, give you like 4 or 5% yearly. And obviously, depending on how much money you have, that 5% could be something crazy every month. So, yeah.
Okay, so a little bit of that. I got you. Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, you kind of touched on what I was going to say. So the perception of Amari Cooper, is that you real quiet, but as we can see today, you got some talk on you, and you big in investing. You have a company. So my question was, when I check your Instagram, I seen you was flossing. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I had
today you coming humble.
Yeah, I had came.
I know you.
I came ready.
I know you show.
Yeah, I got these 2 for $20. You know what I'm
saying?
You want one, my boy?
You know what I mean?
I was gonna come.
Oh, y'all
bling.
wanted me to wear a chain.
I was gonna come bling.
Yeah.
I got these.
Got a little earring.
2 for $20, baby, beauty shop.
But the thing is, it's funny. Like, I do have a lot of jewelry, but I don't even wear it. Like,
Yeah.
I only wear it like when I go out. You know, I go out with my friends and stuff like that. It's the only time I wear. Like I notice my friends, like, they wake up, they put their chains on. And stuff. I can't do that. Like, it's not. It feels like it's something extra holding me down.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, it's just not me. But you know, it was one of those things like where, like, when I was younger, it's like I couldn't get it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
now,
It's like,
I feel that.
So when I got older and I was able to get it, I got it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
One of
So
those type of things.
yeah, that's, so, you know, be like that sometimes.
Yeah, I'm the same way,
It
man.
be like that.
You know,
sometimes.
some people are characters, you know, on the field, they might act a certain way. They might be turned up, touchdown dances, but then in real life, they just like real quiet. But then I know on the field, you know, you kind of quiet. You know, you don't really see too much from you on the field. You focus, best route runner, you real dependable. You know what I'm saying? But we don't see no crazy interview. We don't hear anything negative about you on the news or anything. So yeah, are you like that? Are you quiet like that in person?
Yeah, I'm quiet, but I would say I got a different side to me.
Yeah.
To be honest, like, I'm naturally an introverted person though. But like, if I get to know people, like, I'll open up more. You know what I'm saying? Crack jokes. You know, some people call me funny and stuff like that. But again, like we alluded to earlier, you know, being able to adapt. Like, I can be because I'm very observant.
Yeah.
So I've observed extroverted people. I'm not naturally extroverted, but I can mimic that if I need to. You know what I mean? Like, if there's a situation that presents itself to where it's like, okay, you need to be more outgoing in this situation. You know what I'm saying? I can do that because I've studied how to do that. It's not naturally who I am, but I can do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, I got a question, but this question alludes for me and Brandon because this is what we want to talk about a little bit. All right, so now with your status and everything that comes with the NFL, how does life go about when you're trying to find the right woman or different women for you in your life?
Yeah, I got a girl. I've been having a girl since I came out of college. So we've been in a relationship for a pretty long time now. Yeah,
that's crazy.
So it's probably tough for guys who, you know, get to the NFL and they're single because it's like hard to know like
if it's real or not.
If it's real or not. But yeah, I met my girl in college, so
lucky for you then.
Yeah, I guess lucky for me. Yeah.
Is it? I mean, so since college, was she already prepared? Because I know in college you was, you know, they loving Amari Cooper, but in the NFL it's a bit different. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the different trades, going to different teams. Did she adapt? Or did things change? Like, was women still coming at you crazy on Instagram or, you know, in person or whatever, or was she mad about it?
Nah, cause like, bro, I'm a leader, you know what I mean? So like, you know, I believe in what the scripts say, you know what I'm saying? The man is the head of a woman. So, you know, I'm gonna lead my woman in the right direction. You know, just have conversations, bro. Conversation rule the nation. Communication is key. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you just have certain conversations and just get an understanding. And once you have that understanding, you know, everything cool, smooth sailing.
Yeah. You hit it.
He hit it.
Understanding. And y'all was together before it really just got crazy. You know what I'm saying? That, to me, I feel like that's what matters, because nowadays it's like, are you here for me or the money? You know what I'm saying? We both look good.
Or you here for me, or are you here for the status?
Yeah.
Which one is it? Trying to figure it out.
Yeah. So that's beautiful, man. We you know, we all looking for love like that. Man, you have kids? You have kids? No kids.
You plan on having kids?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So you getting up there in 30.
One day.
How many do you want? 1, 2, 3, 7?
How many
that's a
little
good question.
Little mini coops.
I'll say a couple. I wouldn't put a number on it, but 2 would be fine. 4 would be fine. You know, I don't think I want to be that guy, that cheap about a dozen guy. I don't.
That's a lot more money going out.
Yeah, I don't think I would be that guy, but you know.
Would you want the
2,
one
3,
boy,
4.
one girl?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. 1 boy, one girl. I think that would be cool. 2 boys, 2 girls, whatever. You know, however the cookie crumbles.
Yeah,
but.
spice it up. Spice it up. So real quick, can you run us down on like what's your diet, like eating right now in the off season? Because I know in the off season you're like, I don't really got to be in shape. So, but are you keeping your diet on par? Like, how's it going for you?
Yeah, so you know, like we alluded to earlier, I'm getting older. You know what I'm saying? So and I'm getting smarter. You know what I mean? And you realize that, hey, food is what actually keeps us alive. You know what I mean? You eat the food, you break it down, it goes to your bloodstream. The food by way of your bloodstream feeds your trillions of cells, and that's how you get the energy to go about your day. So, based off of, understanding this, the psychology of food, it's just like you got certain foods that yield more energy than others. You got certain foods that are better for you than others. You got certain foods that, cause sicknesses that we really shouldn't be eating. Right. You got certain foods that are synthetically made. They aren't natural. They aren't really real foods. They're really like
chemicals,
products, and plastics. They're food products. It's not actually food. You know what I mean? So learning all these things and being armed with this information is just like, okay, I get it. You have a physical age to where, like, every year you age, you have a birthday, you go up in number. Then you have an actual biological age, because all aging is not to get too like.
Let's get technical.
I love this type of shit.
All aging is. What is aging? Aging is an accumulation of genetic errors. Yeah. Like it's literally your genes making errors, and that's why you age. That's why you start seeing wrinkles, and that's why you start seeing asymmetry. So, like, when you look at somebody, like they say, when you look at like a girl or something like that, what you're really attracted to when you look at her is her symmetry. Why are you attracted to her symmetry? Because, like I just said before, aging is an accumulation of genetic defects. So, like, people are accumulating these defects, they start getting more asymmetrical. You know what I mean? And why are we attracted to that? It's not just because of the beauty. We're attracted to that because biologically, when we want to reproduce with them, we want to make sure we have a healthy child. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, just learning all these things. I don't want to age more than I'm supposed to be aging. Yep. You know what I mean? Especially being that I want to be a high level athlete for as long as I can. So of course I'm gonna eat healthy. If I'm armed with this information, I'm gonna eat healthy at all times. Or, obviously, sometimes you'll have like little cheat days. You might, be fiending for something. Yep. But for the most part, nah. I'm 30. I'm trying to stay as healthy as I can be. I'm not trying to have any unwarranted injuries or anything like that, because I'm really serious about my craft. So, yeah.
So, that, real quick, my bad. Brandon told us that you don't drink or smoke or anything like that. So, does that play a big part into why you want to, like, stay more on the healthier side?
Yeah, it's definitely a part of it. But there are a couple reasons why I don't drink and smoke. One, like, when I was younger, I felt like everybody was doing it. And like I said, I always been like the type to do my own thing. I never followed anybody. And that's just how I was, bro. So I was like, nah, everybody going left, now I'm gonna go right. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't want to do, because I noticed a lot of people was doing things so that they can fit in. And don't get me wrong, psychology tells us that everybody wants to fit in, but at the same time, that's like the paradox. Everybody wants to fit in, but at the same time, we all want to stand out. You know what I'm saying? But like, I didn't want to fit in that way because I knew it was wrong. Like, we all know right from wrong. Yeah. And it's just like, I was really serious because I'm the youngest of 5, and all my siblings, they dropped out of high school, like all of them. So I was kind of blessed to be in that position because I was able to see that, and I was able to see, like, okay, what happened after high school. You know what I'm saying? Like, they struggling and this. I didn't want to be that. You know what I'm saying? So I saw a lot of guys. Remember, I said in my neighborhood, it was a football hub. So everybody was good at football. But I'd see a guy, I'm maybe 10 years old. He's in college. He got a DUI. They kicked him off the team. He failed the marijuana test. They kicked him off the team.
No, not to do that.
So I'm like, why would I even put myself in that situation to do it? You know what I'm saying? So those are the reasons I and then, habits die hard. You know what I'm saying? So I never started it. Never did it. Yeah.
So like, go ahead.
Since we're talking about habits and, eating right, healthy lifestyle. So other than working out, other than, staying away from drugs and alcohol, what other stuff do you do to maintain health mentally, physically, spiritually? What are some of the things you do personally?
Yeah. So I'm a Bible man myself. You know what I mean? So it's mind, body, and spirit. What are you doing for your spirit? What are you doing for your mind? Like, that's why I say when we talked before we started doing this, You know, I be reading a lot. You know, I'm trying to stay sharp at all times. You know, trying to keep my mind sharp. You know, older people, they start to get dementia. They start to lose memory and stuff like that. And they say, like, you know, little games like chess. I play chess a lot. You know, these things keep you sharp, man. Keep your mind sharp. And as far as like the physical stuff, I just like to work out. So I be like right now I be doing like 500 push-ups a day. You know what I'm saying? I'll start like when I start doing it, I'll start at like 15 sets of 15, then 20, cause you build up that like endurance. So now I just be doing 30.
Nigga said 500.
Yeah, and that's nothing. Nothing because I used to do 1,000 a day.
Oh shit!
And people, and that's the thing. It's funny because people think I be capping. Like,
Yeah,
but
you be breaking it up though.
It's so funny. Yeah. It's so funny because when I used to do 1,000 a day, that wasn't even the main part of the workout. Yeah. That's why I'm like, how, you think I'm capping about that? You really must not be working because I'm doing 30. I'm doing 30 a set now. So like I'll probably be watching like boxing or something, and in between rounds, boom, bust out 30.
Yeah. Okay.
Or like 30 whenever I think about it, and I'll end up doing 500 now. But I used to, when I was doing 1,000 a day, I was doing 50. Shoot. So that's only 20 sets. You know what I'm saying? But if you ain't on your push up game, you ain't gonna even be able to do a set of 50. Yeah. But once you build that endurance, you're gonna realize, okay, I just knocked out 4 sets. That's 200. Yeah. And then your arms might get tired, but then after a while, it's gonna be nothing.
Yeah. You got to build that endurance.
Yeah. So I'm on 500 right now, man.
What kind of push-ups you doing though? Are you doing like triangle, wide?
Not just regular.
Oh, okay. Push-ups. Hey, but that's more calisthenics, you would think, though, right? Doing that many push-ups and stuff, more on the calisthenics side.
Yeah, that's what I've been on lately, like calisthenics for sure. Yeah.
Body weight and everything like that.
So when you've played your last down of football, you know, this years from now, when you play your last down of football, what do you want to be remembered as?
Man, yeah, nobody ever asked me that question before. As a football player?
Yeah, or as a man, as a person.
As a person, I like that one. As a person,
that's a good question. I want to be the guy that a father can tell his kid, like, hey, I want you to be like him. I want you to play the game how he played the game. Yeah. I want you to respond to adversity how he responded to adversity. I just want you to do it the right way. Like one of my my favorite athlete of all time is Barry Sanders because of how he played the game. I mean, he was a dominant player. I mean, he had everything. He had a full arsenal. He was a complete player, but very humble. Never celebrated. That's part of the reason I don't really celebrate after touchdowns because it's just like you gotta act like you've been there before. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what I would want to be remembered as, like the guy who did things the right way, who played the game and went about his life the right way. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's actually I like that a lot. That's more of like you're leaving a legacy of like play like you said, play like him. I want you to play like him. If you're gonna do anything, model your game after him. Just playing the right way, doing the right thing. The closest thing I could say to that would maybe be LeBron James. Because he never got in no trouble. Yeah. Didn't have his father in his life, but still is there for his kids and everything like that. Just a student and a model of the game. I love that. That's real good.
Yep. LeBron is that guy. For sure.
Hey, so he told me that you're like the LeBron James of chess. You that good?
Man, it depends on who you compare me to, bro. Because chess is one of them games, bro.
Yeah, it's like, mental. It's a mental game.
It's straight mental.
Yeah, but it's one of them games. Like it's. Everybody in here has played video games, right? Mm-hmm. You know how video games, it's levels to the games. Yeah. It's levels to chess. Like it's levels. Like you can be relatively good in chess. Mm-hmm. Saying like you have different, like you got grandmasters or you got super grandmasters, you got grandmasters, you got international masters, you got FIDE masters, you got national masters. These are all levels of mastery.
That's crazy.
Before that, you got expert, you got intermediate player, you got begin. Like so, it's levels. It's levels for sure.
So where you at in there? Where do you fall in that?
I'm like the level to where I'm almost an expert.
But
there's levels of mastery after being an expert player. Is not even a master player yet.
Oh yeah,
but I do believe I could be playing. But I don't play in tournaments. So the way that you get achieve mastery in chess is you have to actually play in certified tournaments to become a master, and I don't play in tournaments. I just like play online and play some of my friends who are masters. So I probably would never achieve the official level of mastery. Yeah. But I can be playing at master level by like next year for real.
And that's with the clocks. When you do the thing, you hit the clock and what is that for?
That's a check.
Oh, that means check.
Oh no, the clock don't mean check.
Oh,
the check is a move where you.
Yeah, I know what check is. I'm talking about the clock that they.
No,
be
the clock is just because the games are timed.
Okay.
So there's different time frames you can play in. You can play in classical chess, which is like you playing like hours of chess. Like both of you guys might have 2 hours or something on the clock.
Oh, okay.
You can play rapid chess, which is like 10 minutes. Play like speed. You can play like blitz chess, which is like everybody has. Both players have 5 minutes or 3 minutes. Then you can have bullet chess, where you have a minute to play. So based off of all these time scales, that's how much time is allotted on the clock. So when you hit the clock, boom.
It stopped your time.
It stopped your time, and their time starts. And then when they make their move, boom, your time starts.
Again.
Okay.
Okay.
If you run out of time, you automatically lose.
damn.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how the clocks work.
That's super technical. Yeah. All right, man. We're going to get into this little quick game. It's called Rapid Fire. All right, you ready? It's only about 7 questions. Ain't too much.
Go ahead.
All right. Who said, even when I'm covered, I'm open?
Coop.
All right, there we go. Who's the most famous person in your phone?
Coop. The most famous person in my phone?
Most famous.
I don't know, bro. I got Gail King's number.
Call him up right now.
Got my agent's number. I don't know. That's a good question.
All right,
that's a good question.
Would you rather play against your best friend or beat your rival?
Say that again.
Would you? Oh, my bad. I did say it wrong. Would you rather play with your best friend or play against your rival?
Ooh, dang. I'd rather play against my rival. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm dead. Like for real though, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, I'd rather play against my rival.
That's when you gotta drop 260 yards again.
Yeah, I'd rather play against my rival.
All right, marshmallow pillow or spaghetti blanket? It's a hard one.
Marshmallow pillow.
Okay, yeah.
What? That was not a good question.
You're gonna wake up and it's gonna be stuck to your head.
Yeah, that was a no-brainer right there.
What's the reason you left the club early? A reason you left the club early.
A reason I left the club early because I was sleepy.
Oh, that's a good reason.
I see what you try to do.
That's what
What's the other position on the field you would play besides your own?
Corner.
I thought it'd be QB. I thought they said
I can see that.
QB.
I can see the corner.
Okay, what's your favorite city or stadium to play in?
Cowboys.
Let's go.
All right, so here's a tricky question. I heard somebody else say this. I'm gonna steal it, but this is a good one. Would you rather play in 5 straight Super Bowls and not win, but you dominate, or would you rather play in 1 Super Bowl, you don't dominate, you play like trash, but you win?
5 straight dominate. Like I ain't gonna cap to y'all on here, bro. Like you said, I played in 1 Super Bowl.
You win it, but
you was trash.
I win it. I play like trash. Why would I want to leave that legacy?
Exactly.
It's like
exactly.
No, it's like I'm watching the game with my son. Like I won a Super Bowl, but every time we watching it together, it's like
you was sitting on the bench.
You gotta show.
Nah. I would rather play in those 5, dominate them. Lose them, but hey, you know.
Anything better than Buffalo in the 90s, man.
Yeah, they lost like 4
straight, man.
And that's the thing. Nobody remembers them, though.
Nobody remembers them. See, that's
except for like a football.
The hard part about it.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't even. Maybe if somebody was showing out on that team.
Okay, but what type of trash though? Like I dropped like 5 passes, trash, or like. What? Give me a trash stat line, because this question has to be more specific. You know what I mean?
All right. We're gonna say you the main target on the team, so you probably worry about
just not clutch.
5 for 15 for about 50 yards.
That ain't trash though for a Super Bowl.
5 for 15. You dropped 10 passes.
Oh, I dropped 10.
10. 10 incompletions.
10 incompletions.
5 of 10.
Wait, I went.
You got 15 attempts, and you either dropped them, or they was like in your hand, or went right over your head.
That's tough.
You right.
I don't even like thinking about those
50 yards really isn't bad though in the Super Bowl. 50 yards.
Yeah,
really
that's not bad.
It's
That's not terribly bad in the Super Bowl, but 15 targets only catching 5.
You having an off game, you probably dropping passes,
Yeah.
whatever it is, and that.
But I'm not gonna lie. Now that I think about it, I would probably settle for that stat line because who knows? I probably dominated the whole year. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody is allotted, a bad game or two.
Yeah.
It's just like
when it counts though.
Yeah. but when you said trash, I'm thinking like 10 targets, 1 catch, 5 yards.
That's what I was. Yeah.
4 drops. So DB caught 2 picks. Like God, that's bad, bro. That's different. That's different.
But that's what I'm talking about. Bad game. That's what I'm referring to.
Okay.
That was my rapid one. Do you want to get into?
Real quick. I got one more question before we get in towards the end. After me, then Brandon. But here we go. I forgot to switch it. Okay, so we're living in a modern age where the sport wasn't what it was, back then. Let's say in the 90s, 80s, whatever, right?
Right.
There's so many technological advances, coming out to play. So what are some of the biggest things that you've seen that you can speak about within the NFL that are helping players get better than the players of yesterday?
Yeah, just like modern technology, medicine. Like for example, we know that like in the military, they always have like these machines for the health of the armed forces that are like 20 years in advance, and then we'll get them 20 years later, and it's like, oh, this is like the top tier equipment, and it helps, it does, but like this is equipment like the military been had. Yeah. But I say that to say because now like the devices that we have, they didn't have like in the 90s and stuff. I'll give you an example, like a hyperbaric chamber. We know that at our core, we need oxygen to survive. Mm-hmm. Like every single cell in our body needs oxygen, and the more oxygen you have, the more vitality you have. They say these things are curing cancers and things like that. So it's just being in that hyperbaric chamber. Like let's say if you're injured, if you were injured in the 90s versus you're injured now, and you're in a hyperbaric chamber every day. We have one in the facility. You're gonna heal. The process of healing is so much faster. Matter of fact, back in the day, a guy gets an ACL, he might not never play again. Now guys are coming back from an ACL in 6-7 months. And dominating too. You know what I'm saying?
That's so true. Yeah.
So I would say the advancement of equipment and medicine for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I got a few more questions for you. What is the craziest experience with being in the NFL that you've encountered so far?
The craziest experience?
It could be with a fan. It could be with a team.
Teammates.
What's the teammates? Just something crazy that's done happened in your experience.
It's different definitions of crazy.
Wow, like just something that's
maybe somebody came up and had your face tattooed on them or something like that. Something crazy.
Man, the fans be crazy now. Like I've experienced a lot of crazy things. I can't just pinpoint. Well, I would say,
I guess the best way we can maybe touch on that is crazy experiences with celebrating wins with your teammates, for example. Mm-hmm. How are the Cowboys celebrating differently from maybe?
I'll answer it a different way. I think some of the craziest experiences in my opinion is like guys who you would think are supposed to be arrogant, those be the extremely humble ones. Mm-hmm. And the guys that you feel like you should be humble, like these guys be the arrogant ones. Yeah. Like, so I'll give you an example. Like when I was a rookie, I remember Adrian Peterson, he had just came off of like a 1,500, 1,600 yard year. So Adrian Peterson, one of the best running backs to play in the league, he came up to me, was like, yo, can I take a picture with you? And I was like, what? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, at the last Pro Bowl I went to, not this past year, because I didn't go. Like, I was a Pro Bowler, but I didn't go. Mm-hmm. The last Pro Bowl I went to a couple of years ago, Drew Brees came up to me and just gave me one of his signed jerseys.
That's crazy.
And I was like, damn, like,
yeah.
It said, that's Drew Brees. Like, you, like, damn, they're like a 20-year vet. And then, on top of that, it was in Orlando. I saw this guy, shout out to Drew. I saw this guy take his kids to Disney World every day. That's crazy. I don't know. That was just crazy to me because it's just like, it speaks to the type of man somebody is. You know what I mean? It's just like, who want to be out there in the hot sun every day with these kids. Like, I'll take you once, but he took them every day. And that, like, as you guys know, you gotta wait in line for the rides.
It's crazy up
you
there.
gotta be out there like really all day, and we have practice every day too.
Yep.
So it's those things were crazy to me. You know what I mean? It's just like, wow, these guys are like not what you would expect them to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I would answer that question.
Yeah, that's crazy. Two legends come up to you and say, "Hey, let me get a picture."
Yeah,
with you.
that's
Here's
dope.
my jersey.
Crazy, bro. Yeah.
That is crazy. Go ahead, Brandon.
Give me your top 5 all-time receivers.
Top 5 all time. I'm gonna do this is no order. I'm gonna go Jerry Rice. I'm gonna go Antonio Brown,
Yeah, I like that.
Megatron, Julio.
Oh,
I'm trying to think. I got a couple options I want to give to this.
Amari Cooper.
Nah, can't hang your jersey up when you're still on the court
Yeah.
Good point.
or on the field.
Good point.
Man, my 5th. Man, I'm gonna go Marvin Harrison, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's another good one.
Go
I
Marvin
like that
Harrison,
top 5.
man.
That's a good top 5.
That's a nice
Go Marvin
top
Harrison,
5.
bro.
What you got left, Brandon?
All right, so lastly, I'm an actor. You know what I'm saying? I got some movies out there. What type of movies does Coop like to watch?
Depends on the mood. You know, I like to watch funny movies, obviously. You know what I'm saying? I know you're a funny guy.
Appreciate you.
But I like to watch funny movies, you know, humor. I like to laugh. But I also like to watch, like, I like to watch things that I can learn from. So I like to watch a good documentary. Or even if it's just a show, well, it's just shows or movies.
Either or.
Yeah, if it's a movie that I can learn something from,
Yeah.
yeah.
You believe in aliens and stuff? This is a true question.
Do I believe in aliens?
Yeah, you think aliens exist? I'm just a random ass question.
That's a good question.
I do believe in aliens, but like, yeah, I would just say yeah.
Okay.
He gonna leave it at that.
We'll
he
save
believe
it for
in
because I'm telling you, boy.
He
We
believe
pick
in
your brain.
aliens.
I got some
He said I got some stuff.
bags.
We can go with that. Hey, that's when we bring you back on for open discussion and we get it.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
dig a little
Y'all
deeper.
done? Y'all ain't got no more questions?
No, yeah, we got plenty more, but we're trying to be cautious of your time.
Nah, it's
boss.
cool. It's cool. We cool.
Yeah.
I'm here now. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see. I like that.
Hey,
Hey,
got
give me,
y'all
real
boys,
quick,
man.
can you give me a good quote a teammate either told you or somebody in your life told you that you always keep with you? A good quote.
Man, it's a lot, bro. It's a lot.
Throw some gems out.
The
I like
first one that comes to mind is my mom. Like the thing about my mom, she wasn't like super. How can I say this? Like a lot of parents, they're controlling. Like I know parents of athletes who try to control the whole recruiting process. She wasn't like that. She kind of just let me do my own thing. She kind of like let me, live my life and learn. You know what I'm saying? But she could always see and pinpoint when I was struggling with something or when I was going through something. And I think this is around the time when I was in high school. When I wasn't, remember I told you when I transferred schools, I wasn't really playing a lot.
Yeah.
And she was like, everybody in my family called me Mari, short for Amari. She was like, Mari, the battlefield is in the mind. And that just always stuck with me because it's just like, that's true. Like I was thinking about scenarios that hadn't even happened yet. You know what I mean? Like I was thinking about, man, what if I'm hurt my senior year and I'm in the 10th grade? Like, 2
years down the
So
line.
she was just like, the battlefield was in the mind, and that kind of stuck with me. And then also along them lines, I have an avuncular figure. He's not my uncle, but he's like uncle-like in my life.
Yeah.
And around the same time, he was just like, what did he say? He said greatness is always going to present itself. It's going to, like, if you're truly great at something, the opportunity is going to arise for you to exhibit that greatness. It's like, it's inevitable. Yeah. Because I was kind of worried about that. Like, I know I'm great, but it's just like, it's not happening yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not being shown yet. And he was like, greatness is always going to, it's always going to show itself. It's always going to come out. It's always going to present it. You have nothing to worry about. So those are the 2 quotes that just off the bat that I was able to think of.
like
but
those.
I'm it's many more.
I'm gonna take that. Battles in the mind.
Yeah, the battlefield was in the mind. That was a
Still
good one.
that.
I was like, yeah, man, you.
What
You would-
throughout your whole, high school, college, NFL, what coach has had the biggest impact on you as a football player and or man?
Man, I had some good coaches, bro. I had some good coaches. Obviously, Coach Saban, definitely 100%. Because Coach Saban, he was all about the work, all about the process.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody is so worried about the result of things.
Yep.
But what about the process? What are you doing now? Because he's always be like, be where your feet are. Like, what are you doing now to, okay, we know, it's like the Rubik's Cube, bro. Like, I've talked about this before. Like, I sat down and actually solved the Rubik's Cube before.
I'm still trying to solve
anybody who solves a Rubik's Cube, they know it's all about the process. Like, we all know what the end result is. You're trying to get every color on every side. Like, okay, but how are you going to get that? You got to memorize algorithms. You got to be able to, know each step in the process to get to that ultimate goal. So it's the same way with life. It's just like, okay, we know you want to be, who doesn't want to be successful? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do about it? What system, what discipline, how are you going to get there? You know what I'm saying? So I think that was what Coach Saban was all about. Coach Rob Moore, my receivers coach for the Raiders. Great, man. He just showed a lot of patience with me, bro. And he was like a real man. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I respected. But I had a lot of good coaches, though, man. A lot.
That's good because, a lot of these coaches be about the dub, about winning. You know what I'm saying? They don't really just check in on you, on your mental and stuff like that. Be
like, it's just like anything in life. Like, they're vying for a position. Like, you're a receivers coach. You might want to be an offensive coordinator. You might want to be a head coach one day. You know what I'm saying? And so they're really self-interested. You know what I mean? A lot of them, they don't really care about you. They just caring about, okay, what do I have to do to get to where I want to go? Yeah. Saying, but you're in the service business. Like, you're a coach. You're a father figure to a lot of these guys. You're coaching. So how are you serving them? And those are usually the best coaches. You know what I'm saying?
So we did a podcast with a brand called Unsponsored not too long ago, right? Yeah. I told him, hey, I got Amari coming on. He was very excited. Apparently he's a Browns fan. I don't know. He said he's a Amari Cooper fan too, but only when he played in the Cowboys. Anyways, the reason I'm bringing this up is because he put a little gift bag for you together. Let me grab it real quick.
Yeah. We got a little something for you too, Brandon.
Yeah.
It's a little something. Not major, bro. It's a little something, bro.
Like, man, okay. Appreciate you, man.
That's all it is. Nothing too major.
Hey, man, this better not be no prank or nothing.
No, I'm thinking the same thing.
Here you go, man.
Please.
See what we got. I haven't even seen it myself, so this is pretty good.
Got a little jug.
I should in the same bag.
Eating this.
Yeah, that's good for the gym.
I used to go crazy with the jugs. I stopped. Like it's like 8 pounds right here. It's water weight, but crazy.
Our shit in the same bag.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
no.
You ain't getting
I ain't got my own bag.
I said, bro.
Nah, you good, bro.
This is a little big song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
Yeah. So he went ahead and got you. And all of this stuff right here, man, it's from his store. He has 2 stores, one in Grand Prairie Outlets and the other one over there in the Highlands. Oh, did you check the shoes too?
You want me to check him out?
Oh, there's some shoes in there? I didn't even know.
Yeah. No. There's some more stuff underneath the box. Yeah. He also, sells shoes too at his store. So he wanted to hook you up with some fresh shoes. He said, we heard you were an 11. Those are an 11 and a half.
Some lows. Okay.
And then he got you some sweats for the wintertime because we know it'd be a little cold out there.
Let me see.
Hey, while you talking, what is there to do in Cleveland?
I don't do nothing out there. I just be
working.
Bro, chilling.
Yeah.
Stay indoors.
Practice, I go to the crib. Yeah, I'll be up there, man. I have a singular focus up there. I'm just trying to work, play good football, win. And then when the season over, I'll be having to get up out of there because I ain't used to that cold.
We'll take this off.
And come back to the D. You gonna forever? You see yourself living out here, or you gonna?
Man, Dallas is a nice neutral spot, bro. Yeah. Like, cause when I played for the Raiders, when the Raiders was in California, it was so far from Miami, which I'm from Miami. So every time I had to hop on a flight 6 hours, like. It's not a neutral spot. Dallas, like, you can get to Miami like this. You can get to Cali like this. You can get to New York like this. So I think it's and then it got great football. Yeah. Like for high schoolers, like thinking about my future, kids and stuff like that. Great school districts. football, basketball, all sports. It's just I don't know. It's a place that got a lot of good stuff going on.
Community,
I would say
everything.
that.
It's like you alluded to earlier. You said that out there in Florida, and I would say maybe California, they're kind of like hubs for either sports, basketball, football. I would say Texas, I could be wrong, is probably a hub for NFL quarterbacks. Like, when you can come to Texas, you're going to probably find you a quarterback somewhere in one of these high schools coming up. A good example would be Kyler Murray out there out of Allen. Yeah. Made it to the NFL and etc.
Matt Stafford.
There you go, Matt Stafford.
Dallas,
Pat Mahomes.
Texas is a hub for Pat Mahomes. Texas is a hub. That's what I'm saying. Texas is a hub for football, basketball, baseball. I know Miami, like Florida, is football and baseball. You know what I'm saying, and track too. Track. But yeah, Texas is a nice spot.
Real quick, Brandon, can you open that? Your gifts in there, right there behind you. You just got lifted up, bro. Your gifts in there, bro, on the backside. Yeah, you go on the backside. That's your gift. That's your gift right there, bro.
That's all good.
That's your gift.
My shorts.
We had to return you back. We had to return you back your shorts.
Damn.
And so when we had them all for open discussions that night, we were like, "Hey man, let's go out and enjoy our night and everything like that." And he just brought some shorts. So Roger had to give him some pants to wear that night. So he had left his shorts. So it's just a good gift to get back.
Yeah, lost and found.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they back with their original odor.
Hey, so you touched on it earlier about investing in you in the houses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is that your only go-to when you investing, or you do like small businesses, or you got to look at it, or when you invest in your money, is there a certain lane that you want to go to, or?
Yeah, right now I'm more so focused on my own personal businesses. So before I was like trying to invest in other people's ideas or real estate and things like that. But now because like I said, I read a lot. So when you read, you automatically have ideas that pop up into your brain based off of what you're reading. So I read Shoe Dog, which is Phil Knight's book on how he started Nike. Yep. And that kind of gave me like, the driving force behind starting Route Runners. Because I always knew I wanted to start my own business. I just didn't know what. Yeah. So that kind of gave me that idea a little bit. And so, the more I read, the more ideas I have, the more things I try to invest in. They don't all work. They don't all come to fruition how you might imagine them, because there are some like extenuating circumstances that might come up to where you didn't know. But then, for every idea that doesn't work, it allows for an idea that will, because you learn from it. You know what I mean? Like, okay, this doesn't work because of X, Y, and Z. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is the stumbling block to that idea. So now if I have a similar idea to that, I know that, okay, I can't really do it like
can't go that way.
Yeah. So more so my own ideas, and starting with Route Runners, the brand, for sure.
Gotcha.
Real quick. The guy who owns the business that gave us this duffel bag has a video he wanted to share with you real quick.
Martin, what's up, man? How you doing, bro? Hope you got a safe travels, touchdown here in Dallas. Sorry I couldn't be there, bro. I really would have loved to meet you and stuff. But I hope you liked everything I packaged and stuff for you, bro. Quick thing about my brand, man. I started October 29th of 2022. So I've been at it for about a year and 6 months now. And I wanted to take care of you, bro, through my guys, David, man, Director Discussion Podcast, bro. Give me this opportunity to, gift you a little package, bro. So I hope you enjoy everything. I try to get everything your size, bro. If not, I'll have a store right there at the Parks Mall in Arlington. I have one of the GP outlets, bro. If you come check it out, you can exchange anything. I got you, bro. My staff know you coming. And on that, man, bro, I appreciate you, bro. Hopefully you really like the stuff, man. And I hope I hope to get to see you rocking it one day, bro. It's your boy Vic, man. Check it out. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. If it's if it's free, it's for me, man.
It's
free, it's for me.
That's for sure, man.
I appreciate that though.
Hey, so I have a 2-part question. Well, it's a 2-part, but it's kind of goes together. Yeah. So you played a really good career, and I know you've had a lot of milestones in your own mind that you wanted to hit. So when it comes to your career, is the Super Bowl the last thing you need to get to have a successful career, or what defines success for you inside your football career?
I think the last thing would be the Hall of Fame, because the Hall of Fame is something that you can't really get inaugurated into until 5 years after you're finished playing. So you can only get a Super Bowl while you're playing. So I think the last thing would be the Hall of Fame. But the Super Bowl is definitely the biggest achievement that you can get as a player. So yeah, the Super Bowl, first team All Pro, still haven't gotten that. And then statistics, you know, certain statistics that I still want to hit as far as like catches in the season, yards in the season, touchdowns in the season. So, you know, I still have a lot of work to do, bro. Still have a lot of work to do. I have not arrived yet, not nearly. And I do think, like I said, when I turned 30, I was like, I want my 30s to be my best decade, you know, on a personal level in life, you know, and in football. So, you know, that's why we work, right?
Yeah. I mean, if we look at that aspect, you would say Tom Brady's second half of his career in his 30s was probably his better half of his whole career. Yeah. You would probably say, I think he won, it might be wrong, 3 or 4 after his 30s or something like that. Yeah. So he turned up after 30. So it's the same thing with you turning up after 30. Yeah. Which I could see it, because it's like you said, now with more experience, it's like now you're like, I feel fresh. Now I have all this experience going in. It's like, this is all like second nature.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, let's say for whatever reason, you don't get to hit those certain milestones. You know, God willing, you know, He takes care of you. You get where you need to be as far as progress goes. But you know, let's say outside of the field, where do you see yourself outside of the field? You hung up your jersey. You know, no more football. Do you see yourself as a community leader? Do you see yourself more of a businessman, motivational speaker? Despite the fact that you're very introverted, you know. Where do you see yourself after your football career?
That's a good question, bro. I remember when I was young, right? My mom, she said you're gonna be a preacher and a businessman.
That's what my mama said.
I looked at her, I was like, nah, because I ain't even like church. Like, we had to go to church every Sunday, but I didn't really like it. I always had the fear of the Most High. So in church, I would be like, okay, I can't do nothing wrong in here. You know, God might do something to me. But like, church was my church. We was in church for about 4 or 5 hours. You know, the black church. Boy, it was crazy. So I was like, why would I want to be a preacher if I don't really like going to church? Yeah. So why would I want to be in there preaching? You know what I mean? That was my mind. I was like 7 years old at this time. Yeah. And then the business part, and then my retort was like, no, I'm going to be a football player. She was like, no, you're going to be a football player, but you're going to be those things too. And it's crazy because, like, over the past couple of years, we talked about my brand, Route Runner. So I am a businessman. Yeah. And then we alluded to the Bible and stuff earlier, and I always find myself with my teammates talking about scripture. Like, so it's like I'm all of those things now. You know what I mean? So to answer your question, after football, yeah, I'm going to be, hopefully Route Runners take off. And it's like the next big sports brand. Definitely leading men based off of scripture. You know what I'm saying? Talking about, I'll still be doing that. So I'm going to be a preacher in a sense. Not sure if I'll be over a church or anything like that, but it's definitely something that I enjoy doing. And then my community for sure. Like, you know how they say charity starts at home. Like, I have a plan for everything that I want to do. You know, to make sure, you know, everybody in my family is straight. Everybody who I care about, everybody in my circle is, like, straight. They don't have to worry about anything. And then from there, I have plans for the community, you know, the community that I grew up in, a couple changes I want to make there, just to be a light to the community and, make sure that, a lot of these kids in the next generation, they're following the correct path. Giving back, building organizations and stuff there. And then outside of that, I do want to hopefully expand to, more communities that's kind of similar to my community. So those are the 3 things that I'm mostly going to be focused on when I'm done playing, for sure.
So, real quick, do you think that the level of achievement that you see yourself achieving outside of the field will be greater than what you achieve in the field? Let's put this into perspective real quick. Everybody remembers their favorite players, until the next generation shows up. And then everyone's like, which receiver are you talking about? But everybody always remembers that person that left a mark. So in your position right now at your age, again, you alluded to earlier with having foresight, how much of that foresight is taking place into putting yourself in a position where you want to achieve all of these goals outside of football?
Yeah, so that's the thing, bro. Like, I truly feel like God only blesses us so that we could bless other people. You know what I'm saying? I'm a very selfless person. Like, sometimes I do give for the selfish reason of just, it's such a fulfilling thing to give to someone and see a smile on their face because, you know, they just received something that they didn't expect. You know what I mean? Like, that's very fulfilling to me. And so, yeah, I want to be able to do that on a grand scale. You know what I mean? And I know I have to be disciplined. I have to take care of my business to be able to do that. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you got to be the guy that bites the bullet so that other people can be happy. You know what I mean? So, and that's part of the reason why, like, I read so much and stuff like that, because I think I'm a teacher to a certain degree. So I know that everybody isn't willing to read. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they still need to be armed with certain information. And so I got to bite that bullet, spend time reading for hours a day, and so I can go back and be able to teach people. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing with giving back. It's just like, yo, the money don't grow on trees. We know that by now. So, like, you have to put in the work to go get it and then be able to give back.
So, you know, okay, so you read a lot, but do you ever find yourself, you know, wanting to write a book about yourself, or do you just want to, you know, let somebody else write the book for you? And if somebody else writes a book about you, then in your head, do you feel like you reach certain milestones where, like, dang, this person actually wanted to write a book about me?
I never really thought about that, bro. I never thought about writing a book about myself or somebody writing a book about me, because I'm the type of person, like, I never really get satisfied. Like, even, like, in the game, like we alluded to earlier, it's just like, if I score one touchdown, I don't be celebrating because it's like, okay, it's the first quarter. I could go score 3 more. You know what I'm saying? Like it's I'm not going to say it's never enough, because there's a certain degree and a certain time in which you need to be content with what you have. But, like, I feel like I've never arrived. I always feel like there's more to achieve. So who's to say somebody write a book about me today and then, like, the next 30 years of my life are even greater? It's like, you're going to have to write another book. Right? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, nah, I never really, I'm always thinking about, you know, what's next.
The reason I bring up the book is because I remember going into elementary school and, you know, picking out different books. They got a sports section, a sci-fi section, and whatnot. And just, you know, picking up a Troy Aikman book. And I'm like, dang. I go to the back because I'm always curious, you know, where the date is at, where the book is at. I'm like, man, this book is so old. This guy doesn't even play anymore. So I'm just looking at pictures of the 90s and whatnot. But just, you know, that's kind of like one of the first experience I've had with football, aside from picking up that book. When I was a kid, dude, like, I still got the blanket to this day. I'm 27 now. But I was gifted a Cowboys blanket by the fire department after my mom had a car accident, whatever. She was like 20, bro. Didn't even know how to drive. Just, you know, took the car one day. I was like, I'm going to go driving. So long story short, they gifted me a Cowboys blanket. And that's how I became a Cowboys fan. I still got the blanket to this day. Don't worry. I'm not going to make you sign the blanket, by the way.
Wow, that's crazy.
Childhood blanket.
Yeah.
Got a childhood blanket.
I'm telling you.
And he sleeps with it every night.
Hey, no, but seriously, man, that's kind of how I fell in love with football, man. You know, just
question. So,
sound like an origin story. Like,
started.
Super Cowboy fan. Like, nah, that's crazy.
What is the so family and friends, you know, once a person get money, you know, they be vultures, you know, a lot of them, you owe me this, you know, I roll with you to the. So what was the transition like once you started making money? How was your family and your friends? Were they on your neck like, hey man, let me hold this, can I borrow that, or you know, stuff like that? Was it hard to tell people no, or did you tell people no? Or because I know you.
It is hard for me to say no, like, and I be trying to practice this thing to where, like, I don't say no, because I don't like saying no. I like saying yes. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, if it's an egregious ask, like, you forced to say no.
Right.
You know, I like to give, bro. I like to give, and then it's like what we alluded to earlier, bro. Like, communication rule a nation. It's just like, yo, this is what it is. Like, I don't mind helping, but, you know, just communicating, bro, because it's the old saying, bro. If you get somebody an inch, they'll take a mile.
Right.
Like, they will. Like, you get somebody X amount of dollars today, and they'll just keep coming back. It's like, it's not unfair to you. You know what I mean? So, yeah, just communicate. It all comes back down to communication for sure. But I really don't like saying no.
Funny that you bring that up, because I remember, you know, picking up that one of the books in elementary school, if you give a mouse a cookie. Then they got a whole series. If you give a moose a muffin, if you give a cat some cake.
That's how it goes, bro.
And that's legit. They were teaching us these things way back then, and we didn't even like put it into perspective until you get older.
Yeah, because you gotta, some things you only really can learn from experience, bro. So those words at that time, it didn't really mean anything to you because you didn't experience it yet. Yeah, I mean, so it was just like this analogy to us that we didn't really understand.
Which is funny too, because I had to learn that lesson through a book, and then looking back at it and be like, man, this is so true. And now, but my parents weren't, they didn't have that knowledge to put that into perspective to me at a young age, where now, like with my daughter, like, book fair come, girl, I'm going to show you what to buy. You buying this book, you buying that book, you're buying this book, and you're going to read it, and then it's like, okay, now, what did you learn? Nothing. And I'm like, no. If you give a mouse a cookie, they're going to want some milk. And what else did the mouse want? Basically, it's funny because you talk about reading books, but I use books in a way to teach my daughter the lessons that I had to learn as an adult that my parents weren't there to teach me. I mean, don't get me wrong. My parents, they were working and whatever. They don't have time to, teach you little things like that. But, as an adult, just like you use books for knowledge, I like to use these small books with these powerful metaphors to, instill knowledge in my youth.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's crazy because that, like the memory is like a file cabinet, bro. Like, we all have memories from like 5 years old.
Yeah. Yep.
And there's certain instances to where, we tap into that memory. So like those kids, when they like reading these books, they might not even understand everything that's in them now, but it's gonna come a time when they're in a certain situation to where they can tap back to that knowledge that they read when they was like 8 years old. Like, oh, okay, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, this is the scenario that's fitting for what I read back then. So, yeah.
Since we're speaking on books, David's a real good book reader, like we alluded to before. It's like Audible reading books and whatnot. So what are some of the books you read on a day? You say you read 3 books at a time. So what are those 3 books that you're reading now?
I'll be reading like 5 books at a time, bro. I be tripping. But right now, it's a book called Frames of Mind. It's a psychology book.
I like that.
This is a guy, I think he teaches at Harvard, or he went to Harvard. He's a psychology major, and he has this theory of intelligence. It's a theory of multiple intelligences. And the reason I really like the book is because people more so, when you think about intellect, you think of, like, intellect. That's what you think of. But his theory is, like, there's different types of intelligence. So he names, like, a couple of them in the book. It's you have kinesthetic intelligence, and that's the intelligence that deals with like movement. So like athletes are a perfect example of that. You can have a person who's really smart, let's say like an Elon Musk, when he was like 10 years old. Even though he's a smart guy, if you give him a basketball and tell him to imitate a move on a highlight tape, he probably won't be able to do it. But if you give another kid who probably doesn't have the intellect that an Elon Musk have and tell him to imitate a move, he probably can do it exactly how it was done on a highlight tape. But it's our brain that tells us everything to do. So what is the differentiating factor to why this kid can do it and a young Elon Musk can't? You know what I'm saying? It has to deal with intelligence based off of the guy's Howard Gardner. That's a guy who wrote the book, Frames of Mind. So you got kinesthetic, you got musical intelligence. So like, guys who, kids who are like able to play like the piano and by ear and stuff like that.
Like what you call it? What's that movie called? Drumline?
Drumline. Yeah. That's a perfect example. Yeah. It's like he was playing, like he can literally, he didn't even know how to read music, but he can literally
hear it.
Hear a whole solo and repeat it because he has that type of musical intelligence. Another one is linguistics. Linguistical intelligence has to deal with like words and stuff like that, like writing and stuff like that. People who are really good at putting words together and understanding words and memorizing words and stuff like that. Another one has to deal with like numbers and math and stuff like that. So I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting book because I'm kind of big on stuff like that.
You said that was Frame of Mind?
Frames of Mind. By Howard Gardner. That's one of them.
So would you say you're more of a psychology, and reader, or more of a motivational, how to better myself kind of reader?
I would say no. I do like the social science books though, the psychology, social. I'm big on those, like the 48 Laws of Power.
Love that stuff.
What is it?
Art of War.
Art of War. That's
there's another book I'm actually reading now. It's by the same guy who wrote 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene. It's called something to do with war tactics. I forgot the title of the book, but I'm actually reading it now. It's a good book, man. He's a great writer. Third book is a book by Kwame Nkrumah. He was the first president of Ghana. It's a book called Neo-Colonialism, The Last Stage of Imperialism. So it's a good book. He's just talking about how, like, you know,
the 33 Strategies of War.
That one,
there you go.
I've heard of that,
yeah, man, I be tapped in, man.
Yeah, them books, I love them kind of books, man. Because like another book I love, which maybe you could look into, is what is it? The Courage to be Disliked.
Okay, I ain't never heard of that one.
That one's a really good one. It's really kind of like what you're saying there. Really, just your whole life is just based off of not adhering to what everybody else wants you to do. You want to do what makes you happy. If your mom wants you to be a lawyer, I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to play the NFL. It's all about finding the things that's going to make you happy, what's going to make you content, what's going to make you want to push the envelope forward for yourself, not living through anybody else's life. It's a really good book. I loved it, man. I had to re-listen to it twice because it was so good. The Courage to be Disliked. That's a really good book.
That's dope. Sound like a good.
And I'm gonna take that. What is it? What is it?
Frames of Mind.
Frames of Mind. Yeah, I gotta write that down.
Frames of Mind.
Yeah,
Before we close it up, man.
You gotta tell us what happened on here.
Real quick, man. What was going on right here?
Nah.
You gotta let me know what's going on.
Look at my boy's face though. Check the. He knew what was coming.
Yo, tripping, bro.
He knew what was coming.
He said, "I don't do that over here."
Nah.
On the other side of the table. Give it to them.
And I seen videos where he always trying to put the meat in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? It's like, brother, I don't want it, man.
He's talking about, brother. Nah, for real. So what? Right there. So okay, those my homies right there.
And I seen
it with dog. P.O.
Yeah. Yeah, I done seen him on some clips before. Man, so this is in what, Vegas?
No, so that was in Dallas. So
he got a spot out here?
He opened a Nusret. That's the name of his restaurant. I think I'm pronouncing it right, Nusret. That's the name of the restaurants. I think he owns them, or he's the main chef there. I think he owns them. And you know, he became Salt. What do they call him?
Salt Bay.
Y'all can say it. Salt. Whatever, but nah, that's what he got famous for. And then he trying to, like, come on, cause you know that's. Nah.
He trying to bait you, man. He trying to bait you.
I'm telling you, when he picked it up, like, it was the look on your face, like, what you finna do?
You ain't coming this way. You ain't coming this way.
What you finna do with that?
Bro. He know what he be doing too.
Yeah.
He trying to go viral. I don't blame him though.
Yeah.
But no, that steak was fire. It had the gold.
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah, it was.
So you like your steaks because it like had some blood in there. You like yours medium rare, like not done or moving.
Nah, I don't eat nothing with the blood in it.
So you must yours medium well.
Well done.
I go well done, but I do medium well. I do medium well too. But lately I've been doing well done, bro.
Yeah.
I need this shit all the way.
I don't know.
Cooked,
it's like
man.
lately this restaurants is like medium well isn't medium well no more. It's like medium well is medium now.
Yeah.
Well done is medium. Like, come on,
They
what y'all?
twisted.
I don't know, bro. But it's because I know why they do it. Is because the restaurants, the restaurants are smart, bro. They it's more juicier, like when it's like not as cooked.
Yeah.
And that's what people like.
They
you know
want
what I mean?
yeah.
So how much was that dinner right there? Because I know they're expensive.
Oh,
That was
man.
a gold
Like,
steak.
That dinner was that one was a little bag.
That was a gold
I'm
steak.
talking probably like 20.
Nah. I don't even remember, but I remember what I do remember. I remember when because I'm used to like going to expensive steakhouses, looking at the tab, like, okay, I knew it was gonna be expensive, but I looked at that one and I was like,
shit.
This one a little different. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it was expensive, bro.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, man, before we wrap up, I just, David and I, me personally, I want to thank you for coming into my home, taking the time out of, your day and your busy schedule. I know you got, you got to start training next week, the week after.
Yeah, training camp is on the 23rd. So
yeah, man, so close to that, just, making the time to come out, communicating with Brandon's brother, Man, dude, I know we were supposed to have it on Thursday, and then we got pushed to today, and it's all good, man. It's all good, But just you being a man of you being a man of your word, man, for sure, definitely means a lot to David and I, especially coming onto this podcast with Brandon, of course, man. From the bottom of my heart, man. That's why bro, I took off work today just for this. I made, I talked to my boys at Unsponsored. He was more than happy to put your little gift back together, man. Again, dude, I really appreciate you coming into the home, and, speaking some knowledge in here today, bro.
Yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for having me, man. I appreciate y'all's time for sure, man. It was fun, bro.
Yeah, it was good. It was real good. I want to say thank you to Brandon, because without you, this ain't possible. Big thank you to Roger, because without Roger, none of this is freaking possible at all. Thank you so much, Mark, for coming on, bro. I love watching you play, bro, because you helped me win fantasy football. Hey, that first year with the Browns, boy, you was lighting it up, and man, that's when I won fantasy football. And it's funny too, because that first year that I won, that was my first year ever doing fantasy football.
Oh, really?
And you were the main reason why I won fantasy. I took you with my first pick in that round too.
I still don't even know I don't play it. I think we can play it. Some players be playing it, but yeah, some players be playing, but
you can do that.
I don't think we can do it for money, but there are leagues. I think there's but I still don't understand. I've never tried to do it. I might try to pick it up one of these.
Yeah, I ain't tried it.
Yeah, let me know if I need to do over or under on the first game, 100 yards or not. No, I'm just like.
All right, Brandon.
Nah, the piggyback. I don't even like betting like that.
I'd be like, man, listen. I be telling the fans and stuff like that, bro. Don't pick me, bro. Because y'all be tripping.
Yeah.
Somebody don't come on, girl. You
get mad.
Me.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you to pick. You picked me.
I'm just trying to win the game, man.
And then my thing is like and that's another thing, bro. Hold on. You about to go. You about to make me. Because you gotta be self accountable to some degree, right?
Yeah.
You're playing a game.
Yeah.
You pick the players.
Yeah.
So now you gotta study the analytics on on how it's moving. Like if I don't go for 100 yards this game, you should have knew that.
Yeah.
Because you the one studying all the.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, you do be on there.
Investigate if you go invest.
Before you invest, investigate, man. Do your research.
Yeah, they
y'all
be thinking,
killing me, man.
They be thinking the NFL is rigged, man.
All the acts, come on, cuz. Nah, I was just playing, but.
Nah. To piggyback off y'all, man, I wanna appreciate y'all, you know what I'm saying, for allowing us to get on this platform, you know what I'm saying. Big shout out to Coop, you know what I'm saying, for coming through, man, showing love, man. I mean, not only for showing love to the podcast, but just being outstanding man, you know what I'm saying. Like, we got to pick your brain a little bit, and I know it's a lot of people who didn't know these things that, you know what I'm saying, that you broadcasted today about the read and the chess and, just how your mental is, you know what I'm saying, very intellectual when you talk. So thank you for just being down to earth, you know what I'm saying. And I definitely salute to you for being one of the greats at a route running, man. I fuck with you because you clutch, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you clutch, bro. Like, even from the Cowboys, bro, because that's when I really picked up. I seen you at Oakland, but I seen Cowboys, bro. You clutch. You know what I'm saying? Route running and hands, like, when the ball is in the air in your area, you're good. He's going to come down with it. You know what I'm saying? So, I appreciate you for just being elite, man. You know what I'm saying? One of the greats out here. So, hey, man, thank y'all for tuning in to Direct Discussions, man. Big shout out again to Coop, man. Listen, make sure y'all like, subscribe, hit the bell, you know what I'm saying? Do all that funny shit, you know what I'm saying? And make sure y'all tune in next time, man. Catch the next episode, man. We out.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. See you on the next one.
Let's go.